Greetings, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Living on Music. I'm Steve Hauk. And yes, to me, all of the guests I have on Living on Music are very special folks. And today is no exception. To any of you who are fans of a band that began their run in the early 90s and became one of the better-known 90s alternative rock bands, Everclear, then Art Alexakis is who you know, and that is who is my guest on Living on Music right here. He is best known as the singer, songwriter, and guitarist of that rock band. They emerged from the 90s, just celebrated their 30th anniversary in 2022 with a reissue of World of Noise. Unbelievable tour dates they have, including Silver Spring, Fillmore. They're playing on September 13th. So, I mean, that is an incredible thing that they are still touring a lot. And we talked pretty openly in a relatively brief but wonderful discussion about his current career. Also, again, for those of you who are fans, and maybe you don't know, he was diagnosed back in 2016-ish with multiple sclerosis, but it didn't really hit home until he had gotten a car accident. And then the diagnosis was made with a little bit more kind of focus. And so he's dealing with that, but still touring, still looks wonderful, still sounds and communicates so beautifully. And we just really talked about that, a little about his daughter, who is in one of his videos coming up. And also, again, what an incredibly difficult time he had as a child. And if you know his history, you sure know what happened to him. And again, we don't talk about it specifically, and not because I didn't want to or he wouldn't have, but because of the time. He's very busy with interviews. So we did talk about the fact that he had been through a lot, and then he had turned around and gone and been an activist for all the things that had hit him. He went out and tried to help people, and it was an incredible effort. And we talk a little bit about that. But again, he was, abused as a young boy after his father left the family and his mother moved to a lower income place. He had the loss of his brother to an overdose, his friend to a suicide, became very involved in drugs, and but for the last 34 years has been clean and sober. And again, he's a wonderful guy. Have a wonderful talk, and you are going to really enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, please, without further ado, welcome to Living on Music, Art Alexakis. Art Alexakis, I'm telling you, it has been a long time since I've wanted you on Living on Music. Welcome to here, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me, brother.
I'm doing very, very well. And I am so excited to chat with you while I have you, because again, we're close in age. So I've watched your life go a long way through the band years and things to this day. And boy, Art, the Everclear schedule right now that is on fire, right? It is really something. Isn't it? How does live music feel to you at this stage in your life with Everclear?
You mean playing live music? For me, playing live music?
Yeah.
It's a blessing, man. It's wonderful that we're in such demand, and not just us, but just about every 90s band. But we're doing phenomenal business.
Right.
And to the point that we're turning shows down.
Oh, wow.
And that goes against my grain to turn down money.
I bet.
And a chance to perform for people who want us to perform. It's not just about the money, but money's part of it, because that's how I make my living,
Sure.
And there's certain aspects of my life that I have to keep an eye on the future, that I have to really take care of.
Sure.
The legacy of taking care of my family now.
Yes.
So we work a lot. But all the guys in my band, I'm in my 60s, as you know.
Right.
And, the other guys are in their 50s, and so are our crew guys. So we're guys have been around for a while. And man, we're just out there to, all my guys, none of them have day jobs. Most of them own houses. We work a lot, and we we make a decent living doing it. And it's a blessing to be 61 years old and to be able to play guitar in a rock band for a living.
I bet it is. And
Okay.
again, you should be extremely proud of the legacy that Everclear continues to run, because people, when I told them I was interviewing you in the Living on Music Nation, they were ecstatic. They loved what you did, and they loved what you're still doing. You're jumping into Wisconsin, Oregon, Kentucky coming up. If you look behind me, it's that place in Georgia, the Tybee Post Music Theater, which I guess you're doing the festival in November. I put a venue behind me in my shows, and I
Now
said,
we're playing the Tybee Festival, and so that's the place, huh?
yeah, there it is, and it's a really neat theater, and the place is wonderful. But look, you are surging along, and again, we're coming out of an amazingly interesting period for musicians. I started this show, Art. I've been a music journalist for 20 years, but I started the show, the Zoom, to interact with people, even though it wasn't in person during the pandemic, and musicians. And it's really gone and given musicians a way to engage. And that's what's been a wonderful ride. Prior to the pandemic and things, you released your first solo album. Is that true?
That was in 2019.
Yeah, right before it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was in COVID. In the fall of 2019. I started recording it in 2018, and I had been diagnosed with MS in 2016, yes. But I hadn't told. I told all my friends and family. I'd meet people. I talked about it. It wasn't like I was hiding it.
Right.
I hadn't really processed how I was going to be public about it. But then I wrote a song that ended up on the solo record, a song called Hot Water Test, which is in reference to what they used to do to back in the 1800s, early part of the 1900s, to see if people had symptoms of MS and other autoimmune disease.
Right.
They would wrap them up in burlap
and
put them in 120-degree water.
Wow.
Or more.
Unbelievable.
Barbaric.
Right.
And see if they had symptoms.
Right.
So when I wrote that song, I knew I was going to have to talk about it. So in March of 2019,
right,
I wrote a letter to our fans, and it went viral, just explaining that I had MS.
My doctors told me that I had a disease. I will slowly fall apart until there's nothing left that looks like me. Oh, I smiled at people as I walked to my car to call my wife. I told her everything the doctors had said. Then we both began to cry. She said, easy can be hard to do. Life can be ugly or beautiful and new. It's up to me, and it's up to you. She said, heaven isn't hard to see. It looks like life with our family. In this house that we call home, I will never leave you. I take my shots and I walk the walk. In every kind of way, I look for balance in the things that get harder every day. I'm afraid I will never be the man that I used to be. I'm afraid I will never be the man that I want the world to see when it looks at me. I know easy can be hard to do.
Well, when I found that out, Art, I'll tell you this very quickly. I just took an 11 state, drive around New England with my partner Suzanne, and we visited family and friends. And one couple we visited was one of the gentlemen has MS, and his symptoms are extremely mellow and steady, and he doesn't feel the grandest part of MS. So that's what I wanted to let you know, because I know that you're very involved in it, and there's a way that it will just that the symptoms, subside for a while. Is that what you're feeling now?
They don't subside for a while. It depends on the person. I mean, it's a downhill race, right?
Right.
Once you get it, it starts. It is going to progress.
Right.
End of story. Some people go into remission. That's not been clinically proven yet.
Right.
Some people go into a plateau that they call a remission, which is cool, or they were misdiagnosed in the first place.
Right.
But people with MS, for the most part, when I got diagnosed, I had very light symptoms, and I was doing okay on the moderate medication they had at the time.
Right.
And then I got COVID in 21, in January of 21, and that put me in the hospital.
Right.
It gave me more lesions, a lesion on my brain and two lesions on my spine.
Wow.
And that progressed it, but I didn't progress to really bad. But it's harder. It's harder now. I'm on a better medication now, but it's harder now. As far as that goes, as far as the MS goes. But I pushed through it. It's like
Yeah.
15 years to my life,
Oh, well, Art, that's fabulous, because look at you're you're able to tour, you're able to go out and sing live. You must feel enough to do that.
I do. I feel good enough to do that. Even on bad days, I'm out there doing it.
And how it affects
it depends upon the person. It depends on their constitution.
Right.
Everybody has it differently. Some people get it out of nowhere when they're like 12, and it's horrible, and it just progresses. They don't know how it works.
Right.
We do know that if you smoke tobacco products, you get an 80% chance of progressing. You're drinking alcohol, you get an 80% chance of progressing. All those things.
Right.
Anything inflammatory is going to cause your system, to reject that inflammation. And what it does is your immune system basically is trying to kill you. My immune system's trying to kill me.
Yes. Well, look, I'm gonna be wishing you the best vibes from now on. And I knew that you had got it. 2022 though, Art. Look, Everclear reissued World of Noise, and that had to be a really neat kind of blooming of some of the amazing stuff you'd already done. What was the impetus behind that? And also the video that you guys did, the Everclear 30 Years Gone thing. That was a nice little 2022 oomph, and you took to tour again.
So I knew that going into January of last year, that it was the 30th year, anniversary of the band. And we were trying to figure out what to do to see if we're going to do a tour or what we're going to do. And people had been wanting me to reissue World of Noise, but I didn't know where the original tapes were. I would have had to reissue what Capitol had mastered back in '94, which I didn't like. It was really thin. It wasn't done.
Right.
Wasn't done well.
Wow.
And just lo and behold, in the back of my studio, I have a storage space back there, and I was going through it, and I found a box that I thought, this big box that I thought belonged to my wife's family, and I'm opening it. I'm like trying to see what's in there, and I'm going to take it over to her side of the studio, which is over there, and it's all my tapes. Going back 35 years, 40 years, even stuff back 45 years.
Fabulous.
And so I found the original tapes of World of Noise. Had them baked. They have to bake them and clean them, and then I had them bounce down to digital. So I have all that music bounced down to digital on big hard drives. So they're saved forever.
God. Right.
But that being said, I'm like, let's put this out. And we found someone to help us put it out, a label to help us put it out. They were going to put out vinyl next year.
Right.
But we put it out on digital and CD, and it just sounds phenomenal. And
Oh, wow.
we did a 30th anniversary tour last year. And the last show of that tour was on December 1st at the Whiskey A Go-Go, which we had never played before.
Oh,
Right? I grew up in LA. I've done lots of bad things backstage there, but I'd never played there. And played, and we recorded it, and it's going to be a brand new live album that comes out September 8th.
yes.
At the Whiskey A Go-Go. Double, for old guys like me, it's a double live album with vinyl. Double live.
Oh, spectacular. What an exciting thing for fans and you to be able to do that Whiskey A Go-Go thing and then have it be released. Oh, can't wait to hear that. And that's going to be fun. And you've also got 2 bonus studio tracks on that as well, which is exciting, right?
Yeah, that's a song. Yeah, those 2 songs are the one is a song that we recorded last year and we put out by ourselves called Year of the Tiger. And the other song is a song called Sing Away, which originally was a song I wrote for the solo record, which was more acoustic, but then we re-recorded it much more like Everclear with big guitars and drums and stuff. And that's the other bonus track on there. And we just finished filming a video for Sing Away that actually my daughter has a bit part in.
Oh,
my 16-year-old.
Oh my,
almost 16-year-old.
I hear a voice in your room when I'm alone at night. It reminds me of your life. It reminds me of your laughter. It reminds me of a better time before. Back before you decided that you did not want to be here anymore. I hear the poison in the voices of those awful words. Yes, I read the words they wrote to you. Those stupid broken children. I wonder if they knew just how badly they were hurting you.
got a lot going on. Tour starts with the Ataris on September 6th, and
Oh,
it comes out September 8th. And sometime in like either October or November, we'll release the video of us recording that live record at the Whiskey A Go Go in
oh,
front of 600 people. So,
spectacular. That
yeah.
is, that is. I had a couple of trips to LA when I was in television executive, and then we went to Whiskey A Go Go one night. And being a music fan, I felt like I was
On hallowed ground.
on
Yeah,
hallowed ground. Exactly. I felt like that.
you were.
A couple of quick things I wanted to touch on just briefly. I could go on for so long. Um, having a childhood where you had a lot happen, and you've talked about it very, very at length, so we won't go down every bridge here, but you've come out of that, created Everclear, and continued to go forward. It must be a wonderful thing. And what you did also, Art, as I love, is you did so many of these wonderful, and you know, you call it activism in politics, but what you did was, you know, just so wonderful to go and talk about compassion for children when you had a childhood that was challenging. You talked about the national drug control and drug awareness when you had your own issues. It seems like you turned things around and then went at them and said, hey, I want to help.
Yeah, I mean, I've been clean and sober for 34 years, so I've
Right.
been, pretty much part of recovery, 12
Yes.
step recovery for
Yes.
34 years.
Right.
And part of that recovery is being of service to people.
Right.
And it's a huge part of that. If you get into what 12-step recovery is all about,
Right.
being of service and being available, and not just for people in recovery, but people who've been abused. This new song, this new video we have is, follows the story arc of the song, which is about bullyism and suicide. And as a father of a teenager who's been bullied and had emotional issues, it's something that hits close to home. But I have friends who've lost kids to suicide.
Yes.
And overdoses, and it's just something that needs to be talked about. All these things need to be talked about to reduce the stigma of that. It's like mental health. You
Yeah.
got people in the NFL now talking about mental health, which is wonderful.
Right.
It's like they're talking
Totally.
to a demographic of people that grew up not talking about that.
Right.
Now everybody's talking about it, and the stigma of it is going down.
Absolutely.
And other people are like, hey, I got to go to my therapist. I'm on medication. Hey, cool. So am I. So
Right.
everybody is, or
Yeah.
everybody, someone in their family is.
Totally.
It's not that big of a deal. Where like me dealing with my MS, it's just like everybody every day is trying to have a good life, and we're doing whatever we can to get there.
Absolutely.
To avoid the bad stuff, addiction,
Yes.
Abuse, anger, violence. Get rid of that. Everybody wants to live,
Right. Right. Well, what I really am impressed with you about, not only the music over the years, but what you have done in those ways where you've taken what has hit you so hard and you've gone out and helped people and tried to make a difference. I love that. One thing, Art, I'd love to wrap with is that you and I have something very much in common. I am very involved with Jim Ebert and Cancer Can Rock.
Oh, I know, Jim.
I know you do. And I have been the MC of their events for the last 3 years. I've done 5 or 6 shows with him and cancer patients who've come on the shows, ones that have survived and played live on my show. But boy, it started out when we began our relationship knowing that Art had done it. Tell me a little bit about what you remember about Cancer Can Rock. The big event is September 17th at Sunshine Ridge Music Festival. And that's 5 or 6 local bands, amazing people playing. And I just wanted to get a little bit of what you felt for that one relationship you had with Jim for a little while about Cancer Can Rock.
Well, I had met Jim years ago. He had done a remix of a song
Yes.
years ago. And so we knew of each other, and we were on social media, not really close, but he reached out and he told me about what he was doing. And my mother died of cancer. She had suffered from cancer many times.
Oh.
One of my sisters had died from cancer. My
Right.
nephew from leukemia, which is cancer of the
Right.
blood. So it's very close to home to me. as it is for most people. They say that if you live long enough, you're going to get cancer.
Yes,
That's pretty much how it works.
totally.
So when he asked me to be a part of it, it was something that I found very special. We always try to help people. $1 of every ticket sold goes to the MS Society on our tours.
Right.
Or Sweet Relief, which is another MS organization, and we are also set up in the future to put money towards Music Cares, which helps get people into recovery. And Rock for Cancer and all those organizations are really important.
Yes.
To use, and it's like, if you ask a normal person, man, will you kick in a little money extra for a ticket to help people?
Right.
They're gonna jump out of their skins to help you for the most part.
Yeah, totally.
It's just a matter of putting it out there and making it available to people.
It is. And the things that Cancer Can Rock takes people who are cancer patients and lets them cut music and have that incredible interactive, collaborative, happy moment while they might have to go home and deal with chemo. I mean, that's an amazing thing. So I know that you will wish, you can wish Jim Ebert a wonderful event. And also, they're really continuing to try to raise money to support Cancer Can Rock. So I love the fact that you were involved with them, and I know that you wish them wonderful luck.
Give them my best.
I absolutely will, Art. And look, I can't thank you enough for this. I could talk about your life for 3 hours. I love talking about it for this.
I don't want to talk about my life for 3 hours. I don't want to talk about my life for 3
Well,
hours.
good. Then we did it a perfect amount of time. But look, I wish you nothing but the best, not only with your amazing continuous legacy of Everclear, but also Art's health and how you continue to go forward. I'm going to be following you closely. Thanks so much, Art. We'll be in touch.
Bye, Steve.
All right, man. Oh, I've been wanting that gentleman on for so long. Could have talked to him for 3 hours. The way Living on Music can go. That's why I originally wanted to do the show, not to do 5 minutes, but time for people to talk about their lives, their past, present, futures, and things like that, and their triumphs and their challenges and things like that. But with Art today, what an amazing run with Art Alexakis to talk about Everclear, to talk about himself. Art, wishing you the very best in your health, in your life with music, your life with your family, and things like that. What an honor to talk to you. I hope to meet up with you maybe in the middle of September if I can, and we can touch base. But again, Art, thanks so much for being on Living on Music. Let's keep in close touch. Anybody who wants to continue to be part of Living on Music, you know what you're doing right now. If you're not a member yet, join in Facebook right here. Become a member. We're going strong with about 1,700 members. Love to get to 2,000 before the end of the year. Also, YouTube, subscribe. You don't get pinged all the time for Facebook or YouTube. You get a little bit of a notice when we have episodes, and there are only a few a month. And so it's not, overpowering you, but become a subscription. And that really is help to us to subscribe to our YouTube, Living on Music on YouTube. And also, if you're a podcaster, then you can watch it on any podcast, Living on Music with Steve Hauk, on all the major podcasts, and recent episodes that go back months. And there's some wonderful things that you'll be able to check out on your favorite podcast. If you'd like to become a legacy member of Living on Music, again, this show has been pro bono since it began in the pandemic to help musicians engage, and me engage, but also to help hundreds of musicians engage. And we've been doing it for free, and we're trying to turn a corner. That things are opening up a little bit from the pandemic, and we're trying to get some advertisers and sponsors, but also contributors. If you'd like to become a contributor to Living on Music, anything will do, and you'll become a permanent part of our legacy. You go to Venmo at Living on Music LLC, one long word, Living on Music LLC, and contribute whatever you can, and you will be noted online as a contributor, and also at the end of our shows. And thank you so much. And again, thank you, Art Alexakis, for being on Living on Music. Go Everclear, unbelievable run he's still got. And thanks again, Art, and everybody. If you want to keep things going well for you, even if you're up, down, sideways, just keep living on music.